The relationship between a game development company and the consumer is more than just a financial transaction, especially for a free-to-play game. It's a long-term investment. This holds true for both parties. In the case of World of Warships, this means Wargaming and you. For Wargaming, this is important because they don't rely on the sale of a game and a deluxe edition. They basically rely on what they can get. Whether it's premium time or premium ships, there's no guarantee to a payday. Theoretically, though not probable, all players could buy nothing, effectively cutting off Wargaming's stream of profits. You, the player, has made an investment because you have gone into Warships knowing the game is not complete. It's a continual work in progress with new content, game modes, ships, and events being developed. You know there's no end in the near future. So long as the game stays profitable for Wargaming, and you've decided to stick it out for as long as Wargaming holds your interest. Now that's the key right there. As long as Wargaming holds your interest. This includes both the game itself and events inside and out of the game. It is therefore imperative that Wargaming continues to meet the needs and demands of the player base to keep them interested. For the most part, I'd say Wargaming has done a great job of this on the whole. Outside of the game, Wargaming has held numerous Let's Battle events. These are not cheap. They provide food, drinks, adult drinks, they rent the venue, provide entertainment and prizes and gifts. There are few other companies that I can think of that go out of their way for the gamers in this manner. In fact, right off the top of my head, Blizzard is the only one that I can think of. This is definitely a luxury and an opportunity that I'd be remiss to not point out. It's things like this that keep the community engaged and interested. It keeps the symbiosis between developer and gamer alive and well. Really, I can't praise Wargaming enough for what they do outside of Warships. This includes, for the gaming community, the veteran community, and even the historical community. This is even more impressive given they're a Russian company. Or Belarusian if we're talking World of Tanks. They have done a lot outside of the game itself. That's why it's so frustrating when they don't do the things they need to do within World of Warships. And sometimes it's as easy as just listening to the player base. Now let me caveat this. I'm not so naive as to think that the customer is always right. And in many cases, there's some reasons dictating why Wargaming does what it does. Some of this is dictated by the development life cycle. Some things just take a long time for implementation. We might say we want, for example, let's say, more dynamic weather. Wargaming hears us, but it takes almost a year to fully implement and develop lightning and waves or whatever. I get that. There are things there's no workaround for. It's a matter of time. Other items are profit driven. Certain premium ships at certain tiers. I understand this as well. But there are some things that just seem like complete tone deafness. Case in point being another season of Ranked at Tier 10. No one I've talked to thought this was a good idea. No one I've talked to prior to this season thought it was a good idea. No one currently thinks it's a good idea, and really, no one I've talked to is enjoying this season. So why in the world would you go along with another season of Tier 10 if no one wants it, and everything you've heard prior to the season indicates no one wants it? Was it that great of a need to showcase the Stalingrad? Unless there's some hidden profit coming from this season necessitating Tier 10, why not move it to a tier that gamers actually want? Another item involves stars in Ranked, and punishing players in a solo game mode for team play. Radar's another biggie. Players can't decide on the best way to fix it, but most agree it's a problem. Punishment for team killing. We keep saying the current system is not right. Just the same, we continue to ask for a way to stop chat spammers. I mean, how hard is a mute button? There's smaller things as well, like the amount of time in between ranked and clan seasons to stop burnout. The perceived lack of listening has happened at other levels. Carriers. For years, players have said they were broken. Not all, but quite a lot of players. And not just carriers, other aspects of gameplay. And it seems that Wargaming continues forward until finally, and grudgingly, somewhere down the line, they cave in and make the change anyways, when they could have just listened to us in the beginning. Whether this is a side effect of the development life cycle, we don't know. The problem is, these are all game side issues. You can throw all the events you want. However, at the end of the day, if there are issues affecting the core gameplay, players will lose interest. And that is a point that needs to be driven home. It's not enough to say, you don't like radar? Play a class other than destroyers. That's the wrong answer to give a player. And I'm not saying that Wargaming has said that. That's more of a player-based response. But the bottom line is that sometimes we the players do know what we want. So please, listen to us. Or at the very least, be transparent, which is almost more important. Now, to Wargaming's credit, I feel they've made huge strides in transparency. The dev blog on Facebook has definitely helped. Phil, aka Sub-Octavian, has been very active. And these are all well and good. And in all earnesty, sometimes what we think we want really isn't the best course of action, or the most cost-effective, or even the right one. Sometimes changes aren't made for our own good. But does that outnumber the changes needed for our own good? Who knows? Really, the only way to get what we truly need is to keep voicing our opinions. Keep filling out those surveys. Hit Wargaming up on Facebook or Twitter. Tactfully, mind you. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, but the F-bomb dropping loudmouth usually gets a chat ban. Be the latter. Use tact when voicing your opinions. If enough speak up, we can't be ignored forever, right? So to the community, I would say speak your mind and speak it often. However, Wargaming, you need to listen, and at the very least, if you don't want to provide a fix, you need to give a good reason why. Sometimes just a "we're looking into it" is better than nothing at all. Remember, we're in this together. Let's keep it this way, and let's keep the experience positive. But there has to be a little give on both sides. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Hoping you're having a phenomenal fall so far. And I'll catch you later. Zoop out.